Hello, everybody. It is the 15th of August. Okay, halfway through August. I hope you're all okay. It was 100. Now it's 99. And I went for a walk, much shorter than I usually walk, but man, I had to change my walk because I literally felt like, are my legs going to just suddenly just burst into flames? That's how hot the sun was. Not fun, man. This is not fun. So Andrew Cruz and Tony Punch, and yeah, I did get my main channel back, and I don't know, 2 or 3 days later, I got terminated again. Magnus, hi, and exile the Knights of Malta now. Yeah, exile an awful lot, not just the Knights of Malta. Every psychopath. Ciao. Uh, Chrissy. Okay. Long conversations between subscribers. Sweet Barb, hi. And man, oh man, oh man. Okay. Kathleen, hi. Okay. Mrs. Blanche, hi. It is really messed up considering the video, Tony, was 1 year ago, and it was a news broadcast about bridge repair delays in North Carolina. Newsworthy. Yeah, definitely fair use. I've been emailing them. They won't respond. They will not respond, which means I won't get the channel back. So all that work, man, in an instant, gone. Silent walk. Hi. So let's, man, oh man, it's this life is really, it's, look at this. Will you look at what's happening in Alabama? Come on. Come on. You know, they have the troll, hairdos. They're put, what the hell? Look at all of these frequencies. Look at all of these frequencies. Really? Unbelievable. Okay, so South Carolina and Georgia and Alabama and North Carolina, into Virginia, all of the frequencies going all over the place. Here's a nice shot in West Virginia. Kentucky. Well, we're going to just move out your thunderstorms in Kentucky, not bringing any more thunderstorms into West Virginia. Oh, gee, thanks. I'm sure you got to thank your weather terrorists, but they're starting more. They shoot off more of these nanobots into Kentucky. More thunderstorms for you. And Minnesota. Now that is a very, look at this. Okay, just a whole line, double line, Minnesota. Colorado, more thunderstorms for you. And the panhandle of Oklahoma into Kansas. You've got the thunderstorms going. New Mexico, they're not letting up, man. They're really doing a number. A number. Wyoming and Idaho and still Montana. Okay, well, I also, they were talking about a direct hit from this hurricane, Lala, into Hawaii. It was not a direct hit, but they do have some high winds going, but it seems that it just went off course. Now they can bring about flash flooding. They can bring about very high winds, knocking over, trees onto homes. And I hope that does not happen, but we know they can make it happen if they want it. If they want it. We've got 9 active severe weather warnings: Colorado, Nebraska, Oregon, Wyoming. Okay. Oregon to Wyoming. So strange. Now, here are the counties and a tornado warning in Kentucky. Wow. Oh, so sorry, Kentucky. Very, very sorry that you have to deal with just, there are so many states now dealing with so much. Oh my God. They have, it's almost like no precipitation going on in Indiana, but the rivers are still rising. Rivers are still rising, flooding out a whole lot of people. So the tornado warning is Montgomery and Powell in Kentucky, and severe thunderstorms. You can check out the counties. The link is in the chat. Yeah, all of these. So the green here is a flood warning, and here is a flood warning. Well, thunderstorm plus flash flood warning. Also New Mexico, Colorado, into Wyoming and Nebraska, and a little bit of Kansas, and Kansas also. But these are the rivers flooding out a whole, my God, so many counties in Indiana and Illinois here. So it is really, I don't know, heartbreaking. What does it mean anymore to say that over and over and over again? It is just, it's overwhelming. Overwhelming. And then, Indiana now has taken over, right? So when you look, just do a general search of flooding or whatever, you see Indiana, 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 Indiana. But that's not the only place. So you have to do, further local checks. And sure enough, a whole lot of people are having to deal with the weather from Utah to Maine and a whole wide swath from Iowa into, I think, Pennsylvania, Virginia. You have 2-inch cracks, Chris Morian, 2-inch cracks wide all over your yard from the drought in north central Oklahoma. Okay. The 90s Brooklynite. Hey. All right. Well, yeah. So local disaster. Oh, you know it. But this, I'm going to start with, Utah. All right. Sandy, Utah. They got a 100-year rain. Why do they even do these 100 or 1,000-year? It's so ridiculous because, if you really check into it, a whole lot have been hit over and over. Indiana in June or July, massive flooding. Ohio as well.
Far, we've heard some not so great reviews on how those insurance claims are going right now, but everyone was genuinely frustrated.
What is this?
Weather day all across Utah as communities try to clean up from yesterday's storms.
Now, this video coming out of Sandy, where city leaders are calling it a 100-year storm, and the damage is extensive in some places. We've got team coverage tonight. Kevin Eubank keeping an eye on the forecast, and Andrew Adams is in Sandy.
Let's begin with Andrew. Andrew, you spoke to some of the homeowners who are trying to navigate now through the aftermath.
Well, they are, and so far we've heard some not so great reviews on how those insurance claims are going right now, but everyone was genuinely frustrated and stunned by this storm that rarely happens in Utah.
Yeah, you can see the mess was there.
In a million years, neighbors might not have guessed a summer storm would end this way.
They're throwing, whatever's wet out of those windows out here.
Scott Miles says the damage inside his home was just so extensive.
Yeah, the water came up to, about this level, this step right there.
When the rains hit,
this is my front yard.
They hit with a fury, turning Hawkwood Drive into a lake. And that lake quickly overflowed into yards.
With the cars driving by, that procedure to create a tidal wave, and then that's what blew out the window, and they had the water going into the basement.
This way first.
These neighbors soon had inches of water in their houses.
It came through this window, down this wall, and then it just came this way.
Sandy city leaders say it was the kind of storm that hits every 50 to 100 years.
Pockets around Sandy reported between 1.75 inches to 2.5, even 3 inches in this 1 hour period.
And the aftermath was extensive, from multiple neighborhoods to city parks.
There was just so much water. The storm drain capacity could not absorb it all.
These drains did not work. There's one here and there's one over here, and neither one of them worked.
At a time when the cleanup seemed overwhelming.
Just a lot to take in.
These homeowners were grateful for the help they received at a time of crisis.
One phone call got an army of people over here.
A response from neighbors and strangers nobody ever saw coming.
Yeah, I'll send them $1 million if I just learn their name.
Carol Clark. Yeah. Okay, and it's here, Cottonwood Heights. This is in Utah as well.
Approximately 4 to 5 feet of water in the basement. So you can see the water line.
By Friday morning, the line it left behind was still there, and so was the damage.
It blasted through these 2 back bedroom windows with such force that it actually ripped the closed door off its hinges and blew it through the house.
The water pouring through a daylight window well and through the windows. The damage is only part of it.
Our offices, all of our kids' toys, our valuables, wedding dresses, antique stuff we inherited from past grandparents that have passed, it's all gone.
Across the south end of the valley, communities were dealing with the same powerful storm. Parts of Sandy and Draper saw nearly 2 inches of rain in a short amount of time, overwhelming streets and drainage systems. Sandy's mayor says nearly every neighborhood was affected.
Numbers are still coming in, but I think this will shape up to be considered a 100-year storm.
For the Conduses, that sounds familiar.
Okay.
Last time I asked, they said that it was just a freak storm. No, they're not going to do anything about it.
Because this isn't the first time this street is flooded. Fox 13 investigated flooding on this same street in Cottonwood Heights in 2019. The Conduses' house flooded then, and again in 2023. In 2021, Cottonwood Heights instituted a stormwater fee to fund upgrades to the stormwater system. Cottonwood Heights Mayor Galen Benyon said those upgrades are still underway, and she believes the city should increase the fees to speed that work up.
This is an area where they have been working, but this particular drain and stormwater system is behind where they had been working under the road. So again, this system is complex and
it just wasn't working. Oh, well, not too lucky. Powerful monsoon storm, flooding swept away homes, cars in Las Vegas, Reno, Nevada. Okay, I'm going to have to call a subscriber tomorrow to make sure that she's okay.
A powerful surge of monsoonal moisture has unleashed severe thunderstorms, torrential downpours, quarter-sized hail, and destructive flash flooding across southern Nevada.
Well, I'm just going to, yeah, here we go. And you don't come in here and ask me for treats because you just had some. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, yell at me all you want. Yeah. So flooding and hail and ugh, look at this. So it's not just Nevada. Indiana.
State representatives and emergency coordinators are strictly reminding the public of existing statutory frameworks, such as Senate Bill 156. Under this mandate, any motorist who intentionally bypasses safety roadblocks or safety barricades put up for flooding will be held legally and financially liable for the total financial costs incurred by emergency personnel during subsequent swift water rescue operations.
Oh, just shoot them. Just shoot them. Denver, Colorado.
Local infrastructure, residential roofing systems, and vehicular assets have taken a massive multi-million-dollar hit, sending insurance adjusters and localized disaster recovery teams into an immediate high-alert posture. The geographical variance of the storm highlighted how volatile mountain-fed weather can be.
I have to say, when I went to Colorado, it was wild. The weather was just wild. I was up in the mountains, and it was like, it could be like you just went through a different season in the late afternoon that you had been enjoying early afternoon. But hail all over and high winds. Yes, trees down. All over Nevada and Utah and Colorado and Arizona. Ay. And here, man, floods in the Midwest. It's bad. It is so bad. I know that I said that yesterday, but it's just now. It's so unbelievably bad. Hundreds and hundreds of homes have already been flooded. The number is just going to continue to increase because some rivers are still rising.
Good morning to you, Kelly. The groundwater here the ground actually has been completely saturated because there has been so much rain over the last week. And so rivers and streams, they are all in danger of overtaking their riverbanks.
Relentless rain from the Great Plains to the southeast. Nearly a week's worth of torrential rainfall has devastated millions across the Midwest. First responders carrying out dozens of water rescues. For some, the threat of flooding brings back painful reminders of past weather disasters.
Every time it rains here, if it's sprinkling or if it's pouring rain, people start getting nervous, they panic, they know it's coming. It's costing everybody, and eventually the business owners are going to get tired of it and relocate. They just can't keep doing this over and over.
Sometimes you just want to throw your hands up. But then again, this is your home.
For others, like sports memorabilia shop owner Timothy Boyd, the storms wiped out a lifetime of collecting.
Probably $200,000 or $300,000 just in product in the store. Just in memorabilia, maybe more than that. Some of this stuff has taken me 40 years to put together. I don't have another 40 years to do it again, so.
Indiana has taken the worst of these storms. Parts of the state experienced a 1 in 1,000-year rainfall.
We got a farm just on the opposite side of town, and our semis are completely underwater, everything. So everything's gone.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, it is pretty rough, actually.
So you've lost 2 semis?
7.
You've lost 7.
He lost 7 semi-trucks. 7. And he can't find his horse.
Semis.
And we can't find a horse. So it's been pretty rough.
Governor Mike Braun declaring a statewide disaster emergency.
These don't come along often, but when they do, it's a time for local governments to shine and our state government.
I'm sorry, but you had massive flooding in July or June. I think it was July. You had massive flooding. These don't come around often. Do people not remember? Maybe it wasn't this particular area, but it was Indiana.
Get things, everything back to normal.
Luckily, we are doing okay at this moment here by the Iowa River, but the story is not the same across the state and further south, where there are heavy rainfalls happening right now. And a flood watch has been issued for 9 states. Many of those states are going to continue to experience a lot of rain throughout this week. And I'm going to send it back over to you, Meg.
All right, Lana, thank you so much.
Okay, well, a whole lot were being either rescued or helped to evacuate. Wow, this is really, I do feel really badly for everyone living through this.
And tonight, 9 states from Nebraska to Virginia are under flood watches. CBS's Ian Lee tonight from the storm zone.
The rain has been relentless. Nearly a week of repeated rounds of torrential rainfall have devastated parts of the Midwest. Blinding downpours and strong winds turned roads into rivers in Bloomington, Illinois. While in Neon, Kentucky, a car was seen floating down the street. But it's Indiana that's taken the brunt. Nearly a foot of rain has submerged entire towns, leaving boats the only way to get around.
Never thought you'd be kayaking down your road, huh? This is a first for me.
The White River swelled to a record high, just below 25 feet, its highest level in more than 100 years.
I'm at the intersection of 8th and Ruddle in Anderson, Indiana. As you can see, there's businesses and homes here. And while the water is receding, the damage is already done.
The damage is overwhelming. This dramatic video shows floodwaters knee-deep inside Yorktown's public library.
It's all waterlogged.
Timothy Hicks's home has been gutted.
Everything, my refrigerator, my stove, my dishwasher, water was over top of them.
He says his family of 8 will now have to find somewhere else to live.
Just crushes me. My kids' house is gone.
We've actually seen.
Wow, Anderson, Indiana. The 90s Brooklynite. Good eve to you too. And yes, Jonas, wow. Can you imagine the cost of 7 semis? 7. And the emotional loss of his horse. Okay. I hope he found his horse. So many animals. What about all of the livestock that are having to just sit in this? Indiana flood. Oh, I want to recommend highly this channel. And I don't know if it's an AI voice or a human being. If it's a human being, then she's got a lot of energy. But she really goes through in detail with the rivers and everything, that are overflowing and when they're going to, peak and begin to recede. But she does a great job.
At critical levels. This is day 6 of a historic flooding disaster across Indiana, and it is not over yet. We are talking about a rainfall event so extreme, it only has a 1 in 1,000 chance of happening in any given year. Flood records that have stood since 1913 are being shattered at multiple river gauges across the state. And here is the thing, more heavy rain is in the forecast for today and again tomorrow. I am going to break all of this down for you, so let's get right into it. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, August 15th, 2026, and this is your full Indiana flood situation update. We've got a lot to cover today. Active warnings, river forecasts, evacuation orders, and what the next 48 hours look like. Here's what you need to know, starting with the most urgent story, Indianapolis, right now. At 12:28 this morning, the city of Indianapolis issued an emergency alert system broadcast that is the highest level of emergency notification. The message was direct. Residents in Rocky Ripple need to leave immediately. The Department of Public Works is closing the floodgates on the White River, and they had previously warned this moment was coming. If you are in Rocky Ripple, in Ravenswood, or in the Broad Ripple area near the river, you need to go now. Do not wait. Do not think it won't reach your house. This is not a drill. So let's talk about why this evacuation is happening and what the White River is doing right now across the Indianapolis metro.
Okay, so the link is in the chat again. A very good job. So, yeah, well, they're evacuating an awful lot of people, emergency crews going door to door, asking residents to evacuate. This is in Ravenswood neighborhood.
Of what's underway, what we're seeing here right now, my friend.
Yeah, we just watched as these fire crews picked up one of these rafts. We believe they're about to head back. We are on 75th Street, so to give you some perspective, this is just west of Keystone. The White River kind of wraps behind us if you're looking off towards the distance. But these firefighters here are getting ready to take this boat and actually go back farther, closer towards the White River. As you mentioned, this isn't a rescue operation at this point. It is still, they're going door to door telling people, you know, now is the time to get out, especially in this area. As you can see, the water has completely covered the road here. And we were just on the air probably about 20 minutes or so, and 20 minutes or so ago, and the water was not completely over the road. So just to give you a perspective of how quickly this water is rising, and obviously you can see they are dealing with this in heavy rain. They're back closer towards the White River. So we were here earlier. They were telling people to get out. There was an Indigo bus that was on standby, ready to help bus people away. Designated area to go. There is a park back here that they were originally sending people to hop on that Indigo bus, but that's about a 10-minute walk from us. So not sure if that bus has left yet.
Okay, this was all today. Evacuating for today means that White River is still, I don't think I did, but it's open. National Water Prediction Service, and there you go. Orange is minor flood, red is moderate flood, and purple is major flood. And I think the purple is all for the White River, though I've heard them talk about other rivers, but here, Anderson, Indiana, well, it's now red, but here, the White River, Noblesville, absolutely got pummeled. White River, 82nd Street Bridge, major flooding, and major flooding, Ravenswood. And all of the red is moderate floods. So Indiana, wow, you got it, boy. But so does Illinois. This is really quite remarkable in terms of these events that are just coming at us like it's overwhelming. Oh, but Trump, I guess he spoke out on some of this, or did he? Maybe he got somebody else to just say, fine, you can okay the federal aid for Indiana flooding. What about all of the rest? What about all of the rest? Okay. Drudge Report, which does the headlines of mainstream media, pretty much. Nothing about this flooding. Nothing. Zip. That's scary. It's really nothing. I have to say, they did, have an article about the hurricane, but nothing about all of this flooding that has, and I haven't seen hardly any mention of the severe weather disasters that have been taking place on a daily basis. I just haven't. It's like, oh, really? So, nothing? Really? What is going on? What is going on? I guess they just don't want people to know. Flooding in Noblesville. So many have lost their homes, everything in it. Everything in it. It's you know that most people will not get any help. They don't have the resources. They won't. Hope to God they have good family.
Yeah, we've seen some people, you can, I don't know if Colden is painting over to the right there, but some people have trucks that are higher up. There's a Jeep there, but obviously fire crews out here have been utilizing life jackets. When the water was a little bit lower, they were actually trudging through that water with life jackets to help people. Unfortunately, had to go all the way through. It was probably up to about their shin or knee level, but they were equipped with those life jackets. But now as that water has picked up, and actually the current from the flow, because the White River is just off to the north, that current has picked up, making that water not safe to walk through.
I feel badly for this kid. It's not safe to walk through. And then these two people just walk through it.
And that's why they're relying on these boats here to help. I know some people are actually walking through this stretch of water here, but thankfully.
Okay. Yeah, things are really. Oh my God! It's hard to, I don't like saying the same thing over and over and over again, but I have to say, it is remarkable that I don't hear more people talking about this. I don't hear more people talking about this.
And tonight, we're hearing from a woman whose Portage home was destroyed in Tuesday's storms, and now her family is making an urgent plea. ABC 7's Kate Colgair has been on the story. She just spoke with that woman moments ago. Kate?
Well, Ravi, more heartbreaking stories continue to pour out of Northwest Indiana tonight. We are hearing from a young woman from Portage who is trying to find help for her and her parents. This after 2 trees fell on top of their trailer home in Oak Tree Village Trailer Park, causing the roof to cave in. Now, 21-year-old Don Gaboyan, her 76-year-old father John, and 56-year-old mother Wendy do not have a place to live. Don, who just graduated college, says her family doesn't have the money to cover the damage and now are unsure of where to go.
Just seeing your childhood home, all of those memories gone, and just trying to figure out where to go next with things. And we don't have homeowners insurance or anything like that. So it's definitely been a bit of a struggle to try to figure out where we're going to go next with things.
This recent round of severe weather has devastated the Northwest Indiana community. And as we mentioned at the top, on top of the destruction left behind, tens of thousands of homes and businesses are still without power.
There's a lot of power outages, and Jonas, yes, just one of these floods or fires, events, would have been big news 20 plus years ago. Absolutely. And thank you for your comments and engaging. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely 100%. Now, just, I'm not saying that mainstream media is not reporting on this, but there are so many outlets that I don't see any news. This is big, okay? We have thousands who have lost everything just in the last week. Hamilton County, county after county after county. I mean, it's pretty much all of Indiana.
Recede just a little bit, but what you are seeing right now is still above the record flood level. Extremely high water. Just downstream today, it was a busy day for Carmel Fire. I want to show you a major water rescue. This was near the Plum Creek neighborhood. This is just north of 116th Street, west of Hazeldale, if you're familiar with this area. This neighborhood sits right along the anything like this. Thankfully, Tim Griffin with Carmel Fire tells me despite the dozens of people and animals rescued right from their home, no one was hurt.
And I believe we've over 40 people probably at this point, 23 horses. There is a horse farm. Some things I never thought I'd see in my 22 years.
So this is Ghost. I rescued him from the Hamilton County Humane Society, and then Lucy is still in the house and they're looking for her.
This is our grandma's neighborhood. Yeah. But luckily, she's over there, but it's crazy. It's just flooded.
Oh, it's amazing. I can't believe the amount of fire trucks, the rescue guys.
Just coming over here, trying to check on my grandpa. Yesterday we came and it was like not even close to the river yet. Very concerned, so I was telling my dad this morning we need to get over here as soon as possible.
Jonas, I thought you were going to say, I often find myself wanting to comment while listening, but I'm going, and I actually thought it was going 65 years now, 65 miles per hour. Okay. Yeah. So this man or teenager missing, he's been missing for days, and they called off the search because it's dangerous now with all of, the White River that is just continuing to rise. It's very sad. God, I hate seeing this.
My mom and dad, like I'm hurt and I need some help, and so we're not there and I can't get there. I can't get to him because I can't get in the boat. If I had a boat, I swear to God, it'd be in that water.
They told you the current's too strong today to get in boats.
Yep.
And yesterday.
And Wednesday. So my hope is that he's still alive. And I guess my thought too is if I could have everybody that's watching this news station to pray. I believe in prayer. Pray for a miracle that he is okay and that I can get to him eventually and he's still alive. Yeah, that's my prayer. I see somewhere asking, where's my mom?
5 people have died in Indiana due to the floods. And, I'm just going to, I almost feel like, okay, looking at this video, Storyful might just swoop in, grab her, and take exclusive representation of that video and give me a copyright strike, even though they don't have it right now. But here she is talking about all of, there's no power, there's no gas in Indiana. Things are not good. I wish I could just scroll along fast. What did she say? It's like the roads are parking lots. It's like we're all trying to exit. She's sitting there with her car that has no gas. It's bad. I know I keep saying that. Anderson Shelter. Think about all of the shelters, the rescues that have to be evacuated. And all of the animals that, no doubt, are really very scared, don't know what's going on. So the community came out and helped, and they were able to get all animals out. And here comes the floods. Now we know that animal shelters don't bring in an awful lot of money. How are they to recover? Ay, ay, ay. And animal rescues in need after massive flooding.
Our historic flood coverage continues right now with a look at animal rescues and beyond, because the need is great right now. For one, Indiana DNR tells us, look at this. This is one example, a mature bald eagle injured in the storms, along with a large amount of wildlife. And maybe you heard too, it's not just the wildlife, cats and dogs being rescued. There were some 300 in the flooding yesterday. Lori Collins is the founder of Lucci's House, and Robert Thomas is with Noah's Animal Hospital. You knew about the rescue, obviously, yesterday, some 300. You posted about it too, because you know how great the need is. Tell us about what you knew about that and kind of following that.
So Grammy has a lot to say too. So we got notice about it like through social media,
Yeah.
and a couple of our fosters that live in the area, and the building that APL had their dogs and cats in was flooding, and they were ordered to evacuate. So you can imagine it's hard to move one or two dogs or a couple cats, let alone over 300.
Yeah, and Robert, jump in here, because you obviously is something that you do all the time. I mean, at the hospital, and you're always, trying to help and rescue. What do you think people need to know right now when it comes to just the overwhelming amount of floodwaters? I mean, there are dogs that they're wandering right now. What do you want people to know?
I want people to know the most important thing for them is just going to be safely getting that pet. Don't put yourself in danger. I know that doesn't sound fair, but you have to take care of yourself first. If you get in trouble, you're not gonna be able to help that pet, and those services will be required for you. So make sure you can get them safely. If you can get them in safely, dry them off. Making sure that there's no acute injuries to them. I'm looking for things like any type of rashes or bruises, any kind of concerns for breathing. If you notice any of those, contacting your local emergency hospital that may be close to your area. There's quite a few scattered around in central Indiana. You got the north side, the east side, the west side, and the south side. All bunch of at least 8 or 9 24-hour emergency hospitals that you can get in contact with if there is any concern for those. We also just want to make sure that if you are bringing a pet in, make sure that it is situated best for your vehicle. So making sure that it is either in a carrier, if you can fit it in there, making sure, it's also attached to some type of leash where it can be controlled in your vehicle. We don't know what that pet's going to act like when it is in a safe environment. So making sure you're taking care of yourself and that pet.
We only have about a
Massive amount of work. Yep, Jonah's just constant struggle for people and animals everywhere. And, I've seen videos of deer. Yeah, they were safe, but they're looks like they're floating down the river. And then they get to, I guess, a shallow part, and they were able to get out of the river. But all of the horses, all that could not be evacuated. You don't want horses standing in water for a very long time, because it does damage to their hoofs. And I'm sure for cows and all of them. But listen to this, the Tartar Fire, Idaho. Okay, tensions grow between landowners and fire crews.
Burnt hillsides and charred fence is what's left of the Chandler's Ranch.
When I was born, this is where we were at, and I've lived here my whole life.
Kirk Chandler stood by it as the Tartar Fire blazed over the land.
If you're the third one to call or the second one to call for help, they're not available. And so you just have to take care of yourself.
That means protecting his own cattle, sheep, and his own land. But he didn't just lose those things to the fire. He says he lost them to a backburn he and other landowners never agreed to.
The next morning to go up there and see all of them up there, those same crews lighting fires and burning up what you had saved the day before is arson. It's just flat arson.
His family and a group of neighbors had spent the weekend cutting lines and shoveling dirt.
The days run together because we worked night and day and all day the next day and into the night the next night.
When in the wee hours of Monday morning, he got a call.
The neighbor called and said that they were in there around his house setting fire to his place.
He rushed over to find crews, U.S. Wildland Fire Service trucks.
They were lighting a fire, and the closest fire was probably 4 miles to the north. So thousands and thousands of acres between where they were lighting the fire and where the fire was burning.
Who also was there? Washington County Sheriff Matt Thomas.
The sheriff told him to stop lighting fires, and he told them no. And finally he said, "I will arrest you."
Thomas confirmed this in a statement to KTVB that he was there and the fire crews were on private property. He also said that what fire crews were doing is considered third-degree arson under Idaho statute, but the damage...
Well, they should have been arrested. They should have been arrested. You know, I'm sure firefighters know that you have to get the consent of the landowner to even have a backburn, fire. But if it's so far away, why did they do it? And you heard this man who said, they burned up everything that we saved. I'll post the link. You gotta wonder, man, what the hell is going on? All over. The Never House, Spokane complex fire. This was hard. Oh.
One family was supposed to spend August 1st starting a new chapter in their lives. A family of 7 had just finished moving their belongings into their new home in the 9 Mile area. Hours later, they were forced to leave it all behind as they evacuated from the Spokane complex fires.
They just moved in, and hours later, they're evacuating.
KREM 2's Emily Fox-Millian spoke with the family about the home their daughter now calls the Never House.
This family moved everything they owned into their new home the morning of the fire. They didn't even get one night here, and hours later, after unloading, they were back in the truck, this time with their kids and their dogs, evacuating as flames burned around them. They had just finished moving their belongings into the home when the fire jumped the Spokane River. Their plan was to build a life here as a blended family of 7. Instead, they came back to rubble. The fire destroyed their belongings, important documents, jewelry, and even burned through a safe they thought would protect some of their most important items. Hidden somewhere inside the home was also a secret engagement ring. The family says they had just moved in. Many of their belongings were not yet covered by insurance. For their daughter, the loss is hard to explain. She calls this place the Never House because they moved in but never got the chance to actually live here.
I didn't know that it had completely burned, but standing in the ashes of everything we've spent our lives working for, everything we own,
Oof.
With that safe having burned, there are no words to describe that. It's different when you're standing, and there's nothing left.
And now they're trying to figure out how to start over from a home they never got a chance to start in. That means replacing documents, working through insurance, and searching through what's left for anything they might be able to save. The family says it's been really overwhelming, but they're just trying to take it one step at a time. In Spokane County, Emily Fox-Millian.
Can you imagine? Can you put yourself in her shoes? And all of them. But they didn't even get to sleep. They move everything in and then they're evacuated, and now it's leveled. Can you imagine? Oh my God. This hurt. I don't know what people are gonna do, man. I don't know what they're gonna do. 19 homes are gone. Sturbridge in the UK. Okay. And I am so not used to seeing this in the UK that it's, even 19 is nothing compared to, the well, approximate 1,000 in the Spokane fire or the 16,000 Palisades fire. How many? 23,000 in Paradise? What about Santa Rosa? All of the fires that we've had, massive amounts, okay, of homes gone, leveled. To even hear 19 homes in the UK was like, I'm shocked.
Fanned by changing winds and fueled by tinder dry grass, the speed and ferocity of the Stourbridge wildfire was terrifying.
You know, I don't think that was sped up, that video, because there's another video, maybe it will be shown, but there was, I think, a woman in the backyard, nothing was happening, the fire wasn't at her place, and then suddenly this comes and she just runs away.
Fanned by changing winds and fueled by tinder dry grass.
Okay, I'm sorry, but the bricks are on, the stone, the cinder block, I don't know what it is, on fire. Look how hot it is. I'd say something is coming from the ground.
The speed and ferocity of the Stourbridge wildfire was terrifying.
Well, okay, so I'm sorry. This is where the stone ends, I guess, but something's up here.
I'm just looking, Rose. Oh.
19 properties destroyed, 18 more seriously damaged. Homeowners had little to no warning before the fire arrived. When it did, it was devastating, gutting houses in a matter of minutes.
Someone knocked at the door and said, you have to evacuate immediately because of wildfire risk. And so my wife and I sort of picked up the dog and got out.
It's dreadful what's happened to those homeowners and families, and my heart goes out to them, yeah. And you know, as I say, I think the local community is rallying around and trying to provide as much support as possible.
Local farmers pitched in to help where they could, trying to stem the spread of a fire that covered 500 acres.
It stopped 150 yards maybe from the hospital, schools, football pitches. There were houses in Hagley under threat. If we hadn't kept it under control, then there would have been more damage.
Dozens of wildfires in recent days have made it clear that the fire service is under huge pressure.
Something like this really lays stark how stretched they really are. I mean, we had all the resources out from the West Midlands. We were borrowing from Hereford and Worcestershire, from Staffordshire, who were battling their own fires as well. They took resources away from themselves to help us here, and I'm so incredibly grateful.
In Wales, another major incident has been declared as fire crews tackle a blaze near Llandovery in Carmarthenshire. 200 military personnel have been called on by the government to help ease the pressure on fire crews in parts of England and Wales.
In 2025, highest number of wildfires on record, but that has been surpassed in 2026. And to put that into context, since January, we've had 24 major incidents declared due to wildfire and the demands that's placed on the fire and rescue service as a result.
On Friday.
Yeah, Silent Walk says if they're evacuating people beforehand, the feds know exactly what's coming, that it's planned. Well, I think I don't, when I see fires now, I immediately think orchestrated, this is deliberate. The fire's all over the place. They're saying it's the heat, and it's the drought. Well, if that's the case, the heat is also manufactured and the droughts are also manufactured. So you can't get away from this is not natural. Here, Inferno tears through packed neighborhood in the Philippines.
Buti pagitan to sa kalalanan nyo, no?
Nakapulaw na tao din. Tutumpa na! Tutumpa! Ay! Tutumpa na yan, ha!
yeah, people losing everything all over. Volunteers step in after Greece's wildfire left hundreds of animals stranded. I hate seeing this. I hate it. I hate it.
So much heat and the fire was so aggressive. It was changing directions all the time. And we knew that something really massive and big will happen. It was a mega fire, and it was really hard for every volunteer and every person involved really to survive the smoke and the stress.
Well, the fire, unfortunately. I also think it's interesting that a whole lot of these fires in Europe, they seem to burn up resort areas, the beautiful resort areas. So, what was this, August 13th? The fires are still going on. This in Croatia.
I've lived here my whole life and I don't remember anything like this. Lokva has burned several times, but never anything like this. With the fire reaching the firefighters here, all the way to Bika's garage. Houses are burning over there. Look over there, it's terrible. I don't know what to say.
It's a tourist town.
I just left some clothes. All my electronics, all my necessities I gathered. So those are fine. But yeah, most of my clothes and I don't know, food, maybe cosmetics, something like this.
Stunning. Belgium.
From two villages in eastern Belgium have been evacuated as the country faces its worst wildfires on record. More than 1,600 hectares of land have been scorched, surpassing a wildfire from 2011 which burned nearly 1,400 hectares. The European Union has sent water bombers and helicopters to tackle the flames. Europe has faced 5 heat waves this summer as the hot and dry conditions fuel wildfires across the continent.
And the Indonesia earthquake. Another massive earthquake. Are people questioning this? Do they even know what's going on? That's the frightening part. Do they even know? A whole lot of people, not just in our country, but all over the world. Do they even know Venezuela and Colombia and God, I can't even remember all of them. Now, Indonesia, massive destruction.
Aduh, Mam, aduh. Ay. Mir, man. Mir, man. Oh Tuhan. Tuhan Yesus. Oh Tuhan. Oh Tuhan Yesus. Oh Tuhan.
Is East Nusa Tenggara near Mbe and Nagakeo on Flores Island, causing intense shaking across wide areas. The earthquake triggered tsunami concerns along coastal communities and was followed by strong aftershocks. Residents rushed toward safer locations as authorities began assessing damage, inspecting buildings, and monitoring coastal areas for additional hazards.
Has anybody heard if there's a death toll for Indonesia? Because a whole lot of buildings came down. You know, what are people doing in Colombia? What are people doing in Venezuela? What are people doing? I believe that there was another earthquake not too long ago in Indonesia. Wasn't there one in the Philippines? Japan and oh God. Well, this is unheard of. Back to rations. You guys in the UK, it's serious now. I hope you're prepared, that you have some food, because I am seeing so many videos, so many articles about how your food shortages are already happening.
After weeks of hot weather and very little rain, the effects of the dry spell are becoming increasingly visible here in Sussex.
I am carrying around fire extinguishers in every tractor, in every truck. It can go up just in a click of your fingers.
The UK, which already imports over half of its food, is losing its ability to feed its own population.
We should take some of these empty retail shelves as a warning signal. We do have vulnerability in our just-in-time food supply chain. We need to act now.
This has immense implications, not just for the UK economy and population health, but also its security.
The issue is we import about 40% of the food that we consume. Well, in a war scenario, I mean, you know, we might not be able to get those imports.
With the UK climate becoming more extreme, its harvest struggling, and the threat of foreign interference growing, how likely is it that the UK returns to rations?
And I just want to say, why don't you just do a little bit of research? Because that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're in a position, you get paid, and you're supposed to be telling all the information that your viewers really need. Weather modification, geoengineering. Look up, you're just a conspiracy theorist and I'll lose my job. I get paid. I have to just keep it at it's climate change or a heat wave. And I'm so sick of these people. I'm so sick of these people. They do so much damage to their countries, to their viewers, to the world. They're programmed to just do what they're told. They literally cannot think for themselves. Yeah. But, you know, you'd like to think that they're a little bit more than a wind-up, you know, Barbie doll. Utah farmers hit by multiple factors. Now, farmers in the United States all over are really struggling, and their yields even if they have a yield, it's very small. We're going to suddenly face food shortages like we never have before. It's all coming at us at quite a speed.
One Utah County farmer is getting hit hard from multiple angles, losing several of their staple crops. News specialist Mike Anderson shows us how they're working to recover and why they say all farmers this year need our support. Mike?
Yeah, the apples here pretty much wiped out. It's the cold and then the heat and the drought. It's like that for a lot of crops out here.
When your customers are the ones who pick the fruits and vegetables,
I can't. I so miss these cucumbers. I can't stand it. God, I just want one of those small, pimply cucumbers.
To be able to put your best foot forward.
What was your name? Cody. I'm Chris.
But this year, Chris Riley,
It's definitely been worse this year than years past.
says it's been tough from a lot of angles.
See that leaf, how it's kind of singed around the edge? That's from the frost.
150 acres of orchards, multiple fruit crops wiped out by an early bloom and then freeze.
Normally these would just be loaded with apples, and you can see if you go through, you can find one here and there, but you can see here there's virtually nothing.
Okay, so what happens to the farmer? You know, apparently there are farmers who are killing themselves in the UK. We've had a rash of farmers killing themselves here in the recent years in the United States. They can't make it. They can't make it. And then you have people like this.
A man caught on camera destroying an Aurora community garden while onlookers repeatedly called 911. But records show police didn't respond for more than 3 hours.
Our consumer investigator Jacqueline Allen is looking into how the call was classified.
The police didn't respond for 3 hours? Wow. They're on top of things, aren't they? So this is in Colorado, Aurora.
And why the mayor pro tem says Aurora's response system needs to change.
That's right, Shannon and Micah. Viewers sent me this video showing the man actively damaging the beehives and the crops on Saturday at this urban garden in Aurora. Now, 911 calls started coming in just before 1 p.m., but Aurora 911 didn't dispatch officers until almost 4 p.m. And now everyone from gardeners to the mayor pro tem is asking why it took so long for help to arrive.
I come every day and water my plants.
An Aurora community garden.
I have some tomatillo. I have a cabbage. Of course, my chili.
Where Edna Sanchez grows food for her family.
Yes, I love it.
Became a crime scene last Saturday.
You'll go to jail for this.
She and other gardeners say they watched as a man destroyed their beehives, smashed cinder blocks, and ripped up crops at this Denver urban garden site.
Okay, so I heard a man. Nobody could stop this guy. No one. Don't you wish that the bees would just come out and attack him? What is going on upstairs with an awful lot of people in this country? What is going on upstairs? This has to be some kind of mind control. It just has to be. This guy, he decided to just go in and destroy the beehives and also, the crops and stuff.
4 p.m.
Let's just say that an awful lot of these so-called criminals here in our country are really behaving in a very strange way.
And now everyone from gardeners to the mayor pro tem is asking why it took so long for help to arrive.
I come every day and water my plants.
Sorry, I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Making the cinder blocks like that for hours.
He says they all watched helplessly, waiting for police and waiting and waiting.
So nobody had anything to stop this guy. Really? You had nothing. You just let him for hours do this? Okay, something's wrong there too. Are you all just terrified in Aurora? Doesn't that sound a little bit strange? What the hell is going on? Oh, you damn straight I would have been out there. Absolutely 100%. Okay, well, that's... And here, Europe's drought crisis is quite bad. Hungary, this is Hungary. All right. Jesus. To say it's dry, whoa. And there's supposed to be water here. Okay. I don't know. It was so long ago that a normal rain, I think it rained on the 29th of May, and it hasn't rained since August 8th.
Ső. Szerintem a május 20-valahanyadikán esett utoljára úgy. Azóta nem.
Do you see the lines in the sky behind you? You see the lines? You see this? It's called geoengineering. Okay. Yeah. We're just crazy conspiracy theorists, right? Boy. How do they keep them watered? How do they? Oh, God. All right. I'm going to post a link if anybody wants to watch the full video, but I will tell you, rivers drying up all over the world, this drought, and if it's not drought, then it's massive flooding. That's what we've got going. Then, of course, the fires, right? Spokane River runs dry. I will post the link. Now, they can dry out rivers. They have the technology to dry out rivers. They can pick up, the water vapor from a river, put it in a cloud, and move that cloud. Let's say, I'm not saying they did it from Washington, but they can move that cloud wherever they want massive rain. And I had a channel with a playlist that proved they can do it. But I don't anymore. So we're talking dry? Oh, very dry. How about the Netherlands? Dikes at risk. Drought threatens dikes and a greenhouse industry. Okay, the link is in the chat, and it really is happening all over. And Nero's bridge. It was actually Caligula, Nero's uncle, that got the bridge built. And then Caesar comes along and slaps his name on it. Who does that remind you of? Maybe the guy in Washington right now, Trump. Rome, Italy. So the Tiber River is also so low they can see Nero's bridge, Caligula's bridge. And France, still the fires go on. All right, so And, you know, thousands of dead fish found in Little Egg Harbor Lagoon.
Well, Fred, I have to tell you, the smell here is overpowering. And this is the reason why. All of these dead fish in the water in this lagoon. Folks who live along the lagoon say they started showing up here within the past couple days, and the situation has progressively gotten worse. Now it's at the point where people here have to keep their windows and doors closed because of the stench.
It's like going into a dead fish factory that's been closed for probably about 5 or 6 days. It's atrocious.
The water is filled with thousands of dead peanut bunker. The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection is not investigating this die-off, according to a DEP spokesman, but he says this kind of thing can happen when warm water temperatures, poor circulation, and large congregations of fish create low oxygen conditions that can cause them to die.
All right, I'll post the link if you want to watch more. We're not going to investigate. You know, we'll just say warm waters, low oxygen, and voila. That's it. We're not doing a very good job of protecting the environment, protecting life on the environment. Not at all. But all of the other areas that have gotten pretty bad storms, here's Maine. This was posted yesterday.
First at 5, some major cleanup is underway in parts of greater Portland one day after a sudden storm. Good evening, I'm Katie Sampson.
And I'm Greg Lagerquist. That rain, hail, and historic wind gusts, one clocked at 80 miles an hour, knocked down trees and knocked out power to thousands. Many people still dealing with that aftermath.
CBS 13's Max Williams is live in South Portland, where they are dealing with a lot of that damage, Max.
Katie, well, damage is an understatement here in South Portland's Cash Corner neighborhood. Take a look at this incredible scene here. I'm going to step out of the way so you can just get the sheer size of this. Yes, this is a tree that was uprooted, and if you walk over here a little bit with me, you can see that it fell, toppling over wires and crashing just a few inches in front of that house right here. But not everyone here in this neighborhood can say the same.
That's right.
I kind of cried because the hail just battered the windows.
In a flash, a powerful storm Thursday left a trail of destruction from South Portland to Cape Elizabeth.
I felt like it was like a tornado.
At the storm's peak, gusts reached more than 60 miles per hour, sending trees toppling left and right. There were close calls and direct hits.
My granddaughter was sleeping inside, 7 months old. I'm very thankful it didn't go on the house.
Angie Vandeventer's front porch, part of the roof, and 2 cars were all crushed.
I'm just a mediocre worker, and I'm trying to figure out where to begin.
Without insurance coverage for their home or vehicles, they've resorted to a GoFundMe page right on the very tree that got them into this situation. Insurance coverage for their home or vehicles.
And that tree looks hollow. Okay. All right. It truly is, like, it's frightening and astounding that so many do not even put together what they're spraying up there that falls down here and weakens these trees, their immune system. The aluminum gets into the root system, and these trees get more and more weak. But when you listen to them, it's like, sometimes it's like infuriating listening to them, because when you've been trying very hard to get people to understand all of this, all of what you are living is deliberate. How about Connecticut?
Cleanup continues in Milford, where a Wednesday night storm left behind significant damage in the Post Road North neighborhood. Trees toppled down in yards, on top of cars, and even came down on houses. Amanda Callahan is your reporter on Ardmore Road, showing us the damage.
Take a look at this massive tree that uprooted from the ground and came crashing down on top of the roof of this home. But it's not the only damage these homeowners are dealing with. They also have trees on top of their garage, even the cars in the driveway.
I mean, a limb or two falls every now and then, but nothing like this. These are our trees. It's just crazy.
Stephanie Matola and her mom have called this house their home for over 20 years. But right now, it's more like a disaster zone.
You wouldn't have expected the amount of damage, like all the trees that were down with what we heard, and so quick.
The two were about to go to sleep when the storm rolled through. She says they heard the wind and rain, but it was over quickly. But once they looked outside, they realized they couldn't get out.
Oh, they were going to sleep, and then it came about. That's why I keep saying get into the habit, of checking your weather before you go to bed. Another woman who had wedding plans, but this building was, she's got to find another, place to have the wedding. It's people are really dealing with this. Building collapses after storms overnight in Orange and Milford in Connecticut.
Right out to your reporter, Dylan Fearon, who is also surveying the damage. And Dylan, I understand you're in Orange, where a building practically collapsed. What are you seeing there?
Thank you, Elle, for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. So yeah, building collapses. And this was a very good video. I will post the link. The insurance premiums that we pay and never get what we deserve for paying these high premiums. Look, and people, they pay it. Okay, but most of that, like 50%, goes to commercials, goes to the CEOs, goes to the shareholders.
On average, the industry is keeping close to half of the money that homeowners are paying in.
In 2024, 2025 years, when the news has been riddled with stories about how climate change needs to be increasing insurance rates,
And it's perfect for the insurance business, right? Insurance industry. Climate change, oh my God. Well, we have to increase premiums. It's so easy. It is so flippin' easy to just extort Americans, whether it's insurance, whether it's whatever. Just keep it up. And here we are living where people are freaking out about not being able to pay their bills.
we're seeing some of the lowest loss ratios we've ever seen. The insurance industry is price gouging the crisis.
Don't we know it? Okay, very good. Hope you circulate it. Did I can't even remember. Thought I did. Link is in the chat. And this is More Perfect Union, which I have recommended that you subscribe because they really do a very good job. It's still, kind of mainstream, but they dig into the issues that they cover. More Perfect Union. So, and did you hear this? Things are going absolutely bonkers.
Now to what could have been a very big problem. 2 American Airlines jets briefly sharing the same flight number and radio frequency, how it happened, and the veteran air traffic controller who caught it. Here's senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
This is
call sign.
Okay, this is bizarre. Sharing the same information.
Confusion. Tonight, American Airlines is investigating how 2 planes with the same flight number ended up in the same vicinity at the same time.
American 2482 on the arrival. If you're on the arrival on the Eagle, you know what? Somebody else has your American 2482 on the arrival. I need you to maintain 10,000. On the departure, I need you to maintain 9,000. Traffic 1 o'clock and 10 miles is your company. Same call sign out of 1,800 descending to 10,000.
Incredible. We're looking. Thank you.
American 2482 from Chicago to Phoenix was descending to land just as the other 2482 from Phoenix to Chicago was climbing after takeoff. Controllers keeping the two 737s safely apart.
I've been working air traffic for 25 years. I've never seen two aircraft pretty much merge with the same call sign. That's pretty incredible. Could have been disastrous, but I'm glad it all worked out.
American praised the professionalism of the controller and its pilots. So what happened here? The Chicago flight was late, so American swapped in a different plane for the Phoenix to Chicago leg, but kept the same flight number on both planes, Tony.
Okay. That sounds like a really big, stupid mistake. Residents. Okay, this is in New Mexico. Their electric bills are skyrocketing.
Residents of Alamogordo frustrated, angry, and confused after seeing their electric bills skyrocket over the past month.
In tonight's Target 7 investigation, Jason McNabb uncovers why some were charged close to $1,000.
I was actually shocked. Really shocked.
Cheyenne has lived in Alamogordo for years. She says she didn't receive an electric bill from P&M for the month of June.
We typically go into the payment center here in Alamogordo to see what we owe.
When Cheyenne went to check her balance at the end of July, she wasn't prepared to see how much she was being charged for the last 2 months.
The bill was estimated to be about $800 plus.
To calculate how much a resident will pay on their electric bill, P&M has somebody called a meter reader come out, read the meter, and then give an estimation of how much this person will owe on their bill.
But P&M told residents they haven't had enough meter readers, leading to delays in billing. They explained estimations of residents' power usage for the months of June and July were used in some cases instead. Those estimations have raised eyebrows.
It's kind of ridiculous that this happened because they weren't able to have meter readers do their job. And so that is what we were told the reason this happened.
Cheyenne is...
They look like smart meters. I don't know. But yeah, another woman is talking about $830. I think Americans really need to unite and start doing something. Maybe. And here, all of those. And he has, it's the golden era. And he has brought back factories. And more Americans are working than ever before. Who is that? Come on. You can guess, right?
And I can't even be angry. I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt for all of these people and all of these families that are going to suffer.
More than 2,500 people learned yesterday they're losing their jobs at the Tyson beef processing plant in Joslin. How some employees are coping with the unexpected blow and who's already stepping up to help. That is our top story here at 5. Good.
Okay, and the ripple effects will be enormous, especially when you have these small towns, because they rely on all of the workers that work there. So, yeah, and here, Trump, we will pass the great healthcare plan. How many times have we heard this guy say that we will pass the great healthcare plan? And they let the Obamacare just phase out, didn't, renew it. So a whole lot of people don't have insurance because of that, or they're paying premiums that have skyrocketed. But we keep hearing from the Republicans that they're going to have a great health care plan. And here, the fools. Yeah. Woo! Holy shit.
We will pass the great health care plan to stop all payments to big insurance companies.
Repeat. They're not doing anything. And Iran has mocked Trump because he came out and said the U.S. may claim the Strait of Hormuz as U.S. territory. Kind of like, the Gulf of, oh no, it's not just changing a name. No, he came out and said, we're going to claim the Strait of Hormuz. This is the crazy guy in the White House, and he's still there, and we're not trying to get rid of him. Iran on Saturday, today, rejected Trump's assertion that he could declare the Strait of Hormuz a territory of the United States, saying the opening and closure of the key waterway will remain in Iran's control. Of course, Strait of Hormuz has been Iranian, is Iranian, and will remain Iranian. This strait will only be closed and open under Iran's command. Went on to say, as long as the U.S. does not accept the reality of defeat and stop indulging in its delusions, Iran will continue to enforce the blockade of the crucial waterway, carrying 1/5 of the world's oil supply. Oh my God, he is such a lunatic. It's frightening. Now, I'm going to read this, okay? Why Americans now hate each other more than ever. And that this is what's going on. A sharp generational decline in trust across the United States. Americans born before 1960 still hold onto a baseline assumption that their neighbors will not rob them, given half a chance. They are the most trusting demographic, well, baby boomers. The numbers worsen. Well, those are the young. All right, before 1960. So I was born in 1958. I'm a young baby boomer. And then there were a couple of years of younger baby boomers. So I don't know if they're talking about the great generation or the baby boomers, but the numbers worsen with each successive generation. The cohort born in the 2000s registers the highest level of distrust ever recorded by this project. A significant portion of young adults operate under the functional premise that everyone else is a threat. And I think that most of you would agree. I think that we can sense that this is what's going on. Americans do not merely trust one another. Increasingly, they see their fellow citizens as morally bankrupt. Finally, the truth. Yes, the young see. Hello, where are the morals here? American citizens are far more likely to view their fellow countrymen as fundamentally evil than citizens of the other surveyed nations. 53% of U.S. adults explicitly stated that the average American has bad morals and ethics. Absolutely right. Even though, you got an awful lot behaving the same way, and that behavior is across the board normalized, doesn't mean that it's good behavior. Morality is the basic invisible software that prevents human primates from tearing each other apart over grocery store parking spaces. It establishes the rules of engagement. When a population loses faith in that shared software, the entire social contract converts into a hostage situation, viewing the opposing political or cultural faction as mistaken allows for regular political debate. Viewing them as beyond redemption eliminates the possibility of finding common ground. You do not negotiate with a monster. Instead, you try to destroy it before it destroys you. This moral panic created an environment of pure, unadulterated contempt. For more than 10 years, tracing back to Trump's surreal 2015 escalator descent, surreal because it was, it just, oh God. Well, now I can't think of the name of that show that had Trump coming down an escalator. One of you are going to have to help me out. But yes, very bizarre. America's dominant political emotion has evolved from anger into deep structural disgust. Relationship expert John Gottman spent decades analyzing why marriages fail, famously identifying contempt as the single greatest predictor of divorce. Gottman described contempt as a toxic mix of hostility and ridicule that involves placing oneself on a higher moral pedestal than the other person. So, in his research, once a couple begins communicating through eye rolls and mockery, the relationship is clinically dead. A nation is nothing more than a vast network of interpersonal relationships. It is a giant marriage between millions of people who never choose to live together, but have to share, the same, house, country. Right now, the American marriage is in the absolute final stages of Gottman's style disaster. The partners are sleeping in separate bedrooms, hurling insults, and actively wishing the other would slip on a patch of ice. The primary reason this trajectory will likely worsen is that the incentives align perfectly with the animosity. Media algorithms, political fundraising operations, cultural gatekeepers generate billions of dollars in revenue by validating this exact contempt. A peaceful, trusting populace is economically useless to the current infrastructure. Modern America has built a business model out of demonizing the person next door. To keep the money flowing, people must stay angry enough to click and donate and hate. The institutional elite discovered that rage scales infinitely better than unity, and I think most of you understand this. A divided populace creates highly predictable voting blocks and captive consumer markets. This calculated division ensures that the industry of outrage remains fully funded and sustained. Every political campaign relies on the explicit premise that the opposition intends to dismantle civilization, either forcing you into communism or fascism, neither of which is, particularly appealing. So the current generation entering adulthood has never experienced a society in which cooperation was the default. They don't know what it was like. They grew up watching the adults in the room treat the opposing political party as an existential threat to survival. Marquette data as an anomaly is a mistake. In truth, it is a preview of the next 30 years. The country is locked into a cycle where distrust breeds contempt, contempt destroys relationships, and destroyed relationships ensure that the next generation doubles down on the disdain. The country is settling into a permanent, highly profitable state of mutual loathing. For much of its history, the United States has been united, more in name than in reality. Now it's a nation divided not only by borders, but by an unbridgeable, and it's not repairable. I don't believe. Psychological gulf. Tiny hats love treasonous Trump. Come on. What, the tiny hats? Are you flipping kidding me? Holy shit. I'm so done with hearing that. Are you kidding? You think this was the Jews doing this to us, or the Jesuits? Maybe you're talking about the Jesuits. A whole lot wear tiny hats. I don't know who the hell you're talking about, but you're wrong. What we need is more people like this man.
Only on WPBF 25 News, we're hearing from a Martin County man who captured this video. He stopped to help an elderly woman who was laying on the side of the road after a fall. As our Rachel Perry reports from Stewart, the man just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
This may have started with a pothole, but it ended with a reminder that sometimes help is just a stranger away.
You okay?
Ryan Carter was driving home from work Monday when he saw something in the road.
You need help?
He had recently taken a class on the Good Samaritan law, which protects people who voluntarily offer emergency help to others. So he hit record on his glasses.
Saw that it was a serious situation at hand, and I did what I think anybody should do in a situation like that. So what do you need from me? You need me to pick you up? Her reaction was actually, yeah, I'm going to stand up in a minute. So her being calm actually calmed me.
Realizing she was stuck, Ryan offered her a hand.
You want to count to 3? I'm gonna get under your arms. I'm gonna lift you up. You tell me. We're gonna count to 3, okay? 3, 2, 1. I've seen somebody in a desperate situation, and I just wanted to be the hand that she could depend on.
He got her water and gave her a ride home, later calling to check on her.
She has been perfectly fine, and I'm actually looking forward to being reacquainted with her here in the near future.
Ryan's friend posted the video to social media wanting to recognize his kindness, but Ryan tells me he just did what he hopes anyone else would do.
Simple acts of kindness should be, normal, just instinctively. That's, you do what's right at all times. And most importantly, you do right because it feels right to do right.
When he's not helping a stranger, Ryan runs Hand to Hand, a nonprofit centered around youth.
Provide mentorship opportunities for them, educational opportunities, and also getting them involved in the community.
As for the woman he helped, Ryan says her determination and resilience inspire him.
I hope Miss Minnie invites me to her next triathlon. I could tell in that brief interaction with her that she is a force to be reckoned with.
In Stewart, Rachel Perry, WPBF 25 News.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this man is 100%. It's undeniable that this man is creating community. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And it's unfortunate that so many people that believe that it's the Jews controlling. They're controlling everything. They're controlling Trump. It's so unfortunate. They can't get off that. They can't consider that, hey, maybe we could be controlling Israel. Biden. And I was so happy to hear is it Sabby Sabs? Today I heard her say, Biden, when he was a senator, he was the one who said on the floor of Congress, if there was no Israel, we would have had to create it. Why do you think we give so much money? Oh, it's because we're schmucks, or they have us, it's the bribery, it's they have pictures of, and I'm sure that's true for some, but not all. It's because they are, our strategic partner in the Middle East. I'm not going to go into it anymore. I'm so tired of it. But I want, 6 dead, 1 critically injured. This was in Minnesota. Okay, the mass shootings happening on a daily basis. Oh God, I'm so done with people like you. Parsival flaw, whatever. And gunmen open fires on Houston drivers.
Good evening. Welcome to Friday. A woman and her daughter are among 3 people who were shot today while driving along a busy Houston roadway.
This is really something. A man without a shirt on is seen in cell phone video firing a rifle at several vehicles this morning. He was then shot by police.
Yeah, this happened around 11 this morning along North Wayside Drive near St. Louis Street on the northeast side. Orko Mena is there right now after speaking with witnesses. Harrowing stuff. What are they telling you, Orko?
Yeah, Len, they described what unfolded out here this morning like something out of a movie. They say that the gunman was standing on this median here behind me, opening fire on several vehicles. Police spent hours out here investigating. They actually just left the scene in the past 15 minutes or so. Thankfully, the 3 people shot are all expected to survive.
Hey! 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 Stop! Stop! Stop!
Terrifying moments today in this northeast Houston neighborhood as a man armed with a rifle opens fire at cars traveling down Wayside Drive.
Man, that just shot up that car.
The rampage caught on cell phone video around 11 a.m. by David Davis, who works at this nearby chicken shop.
He shot at every car intentionally to hurt and kill. And the one, like I said, when I came out and I seen him shooting, me and my coworker, we tried to distract him because we didn't want him coming here and shooting up our customers.
Houston police say the suspect shot 3 people, including a woman and her daughter, as well as a separate person in a different vehicle.
This country is so far gone. So far gone. Now, this guy who kicked the seal, they finally got him, and he better get jail time. Not suspended jail time. Yeah, you got to do 20 hours of community service. This 18-year-old fucking psychopath is beating up a seal. He's just, come on, man. Sea lion.
For someone to at least be able to take responsibility for their actions, you know, it goes a long way.
Weeks after video surfaced of a young man assaulting a sea lion at La Jolla Cove, an 18-year-old has now admitted to the federal crime. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Catherine Garcia.
I swear to you, I'm beginning to now, and this was not me until recently. I hear myself say, I hate people. I just, there's something wrong, something so grossly wrong with the two-legged. So many of them, feel like, hey, it's cool to, beat up defenseless animals. No, I don't want him in solitary. I actually want him in jail and his fellow inmates who love animals to kick the shit out of him. That's what I'd like to see. I want these people that are so cruel to animals to experience what they have done to the animal. Yeah, and whatever. It's not all Jews, Magnus. And the Talmud is not the Torah. The Torah is the Bible. And you ask a Jew about the Talmud, there's going to be a whole lot, because I have a whole lot that say, I don't know anything about it. And thank you, Sean Hendricks, for posting this. Rest in peace, Chili.
So I think this is one that needs more attention. We had a police dog here in Greenville, North Carolina, baked to death in a police car. The dog was left between 12 and 4 in the police vehicle in a 100-degree day here. That dog suffered and died. And I'm sure that, the sheriff's department came right out and explained it. No, they didn't. They waited a month to tell anybody about it and then ruled it an accident with no external investigation. This is how it works, right? Well, we've looked into ourselves and have found no wrongdoing. But I'm sure if we interview the sheriff, she'll be more forthcoming with information. So here, let's just see how she answers the questions.
I can't necessarily answer that question. If I'm going with the personnel laws, I am not sure. Let me confer with my counsel on that. I need to be very careful in any release of information that's related to personnel. I cannot deny or affirm whether that officer was indeed Grant Foster.
Don't worry, though. She is protecting her peace after that tough interview. And also, get a load of this. Then she goes on to blame politics and says she brings the receipts, whatever the hell that means. Also, I guess we care about the Constitution now when it comes against her being surveilled and being called to account. Funny how that works. Yep, that's the person leading the Pitt County Sheriff Department. Now they go on to blame the budget. So, first of all, it's an accident. No external investigation needed. Second, well, it's not our fault. You guys didn't pay enough taxes so we could have the things we need for our cars. I can't find anywhere in your budget that you couldn't have done better or spent less. It was just and also, what's up with this product placement? Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about this. Share this. Go follow the Sheriff's Department page. And I'll link it below. Oh, by the way, they've turned off comments as well. This is so typical of how these agencies operate. And they're also in charge of, guess what? The flock cameras in Greenville, North Carolina, just like Lenore County Sheriff has them in our county. And somehow we're supposed to trust a violation of our constitutional rights with people who pass blame, plead the fifth, can't be held accountable, and fundamentally are just massive failures at every crossing. But either way, share this. Like, they need to have the pressure put on them. She needs to step down. They hid this for a month. They're blaming the budget now, and a dog is dead, and no one's being held accountable. And it's our fault, the taxpayers, because we didn't pay enough taxes. So anyway, I just wanted to bring attention to this because I feel like no one's talking about it, and it just absolutely has me infuriated.
Well, if you talk about how much cruelty is being inflicted on dogs and cats and animals all over, that's another. It is so overwhelming. So I posted the link to Sean's video here, and a canine left in a vehicle, 100 degrees outside. How hot did that car get? Well, very hot, because the dog died and suffered. And it was an accident? Sorry, but... And here, another, place. Neglected dogs, 18, in filth. This is an epidemic in our country.
Welcome back. 2 people face criminal charges after animal control discovered more than a dozen dogs in filth. This is in Douglas County. One of those dogs did not survive.
Oh, this case has ties to the Nashville, Tennessee area. And let's get out to Fox 5's Kevin Stewart, who has been digging into the investigation live at the Douglas County Jail. Absolutely incredible to wrap your head around, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. I can tell you that one of those suspects is still here at the Douglas County Jail. Tucked away from a lot of eyes. The owners of the house say Jennifer Canup rented the house from them back in June and had no idea what was going on here. In fact, the owners tell us the lease only allowed for 2 pets. But according to Douglas County wards, officers could barely breathe when they went inside. 18.
I'm so sick of this, man. I am just, keep focusing on the Jews. Don't focus on your fellow Americans who are so unbelievably evil. Unbelievably evil. Now, I'm going to close with this. Unfazed husky goes head-to-head with robot dog. Oh, God. Ow. All righty, those robots are there, and also in our country, they're just bringing them back and out onto the streets, and everybody thinks they're so cute. Well, We might see robots that are not so cute, right? And I agree with you, Exile. Miss Chad is too smart to not know the difference between Rome and dogma and the benevolent doctrine Common Core in all, well, where is it? All of the religious texts have Roman dogma. And the Jesuits, well, a whole lot just refuse to do even a little bit of research on the Jesuits. Well, programmed minds, hard to deprogram. Now let's do a little bit of radar again. Iowa, southeast Colorado, not looking good. Right on into Nebraska, not looking good. And we still have these storms going from Alabama into the Panhandle, South Carolina, and Kentucky. Oh, did you have the tornado in Kentucky? Look at the frequencies hitting everything. Well, got real bad evil taking place. 16 active severe weather warnings coming on in the evening and then into later on tonight. California, Colorado, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, Montana, Nebraska, Ohio, Wyoming. And tornado warning. Yeah. Ohio, tornado. Champaign, Miami, and Shelby counties. You got a tornado warning. But remember, your severe thunderstorms bring about tornadic activity and hurricane winds and flash flooding and large hail. Everything really destructive. So do check the weather. Another tornado warning for Ohio just came in. Be careful out there. You know, between the shootings and the people just really losing it, and the weather and the fires, and it's just crazy. There's a lot of madness out there. Sure hope that you have, as a habit, your awareness of your surroundings. And I sure hope that you're a good soldier, manifesting goodness as best you can, helping the animal shelters and food banks and your fellow community members, and doing what you can. Thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow. Good night. Good luck. And I may go early tomorrow, just probably will. All right, guys. Hope to see you. Stay safe. Good night, good luck, and ciao.